Okay, leaving day. How you feeling?
Excited? Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, very eager as well. Very, very eager. I'm excited that it all fit because that was a bit of a concern.
Hey, welcome to the new house. We have finally, after months and months, made the move. We are still surrounded by lots of boxes, but we are also surrounded by lots and lots of hills, so we're both really, really happy. Hello.
Hello!
So, do you want to tell us what are we doing today?
So today we are going to take you out for a ride and show you our new neck of the woods, and we're also going to be answering your questions that you sent in to celebrate us hitting 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, and I think we realised that we've not actually properly said where we have moved to, although we've been harping on about it for ages. So along the video, along the ride, we're going to tell you some clues to see if you can guess.
Yeah, and tell us in the comments when you get it, so where you guess where we are and on what number clue you get it on.
Yeah, how many clues it takes you to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's really wet and windy outside. We're going to attempt to do the Q&A whilst we're cycling or just finding little cubby holes up in the hills to shelter.
So let's hope it works.
So we hope it works. But we've not actually been up into the hills together yet.
No, not. This is our first time exploring. So
it's been a crazy week. We've not been up into the hills yet, so we're going to take you along for the ride, and we cannot wait to actually just get out and see it ourselves.
So let's get going.
Okay, first question whilst we're booting up was from Sharon, and she asked, do we ever argue whilst we're cycling, camping, adventuring together?
I would say no, we don't argue. I think we have done this an awful lot and realised that it's better to sort of put our heads together and overcome an obstacle together. We do sometimes bicker. I think
it's normally when we're hungry or like towards the end of the day. I'd say that's
getting
when,
hangry. Sort of just getting a bit short with each other maybe, but we get over it quite quickly. But I'd say we're quite good as working as a team.
Right, question number 2 from Jim was...
Did you ever go to North America?
No, it was, do you have any plans to go to North America? Do we have any plans to go to North America?
I would say yes, it's somewhere that we would definitely like to visit, however not in the immediate future, sort of a...
So first we are going...
East, and then we hope to kind of wrap around to go west and eventually get to North America.
And what's the big dreamy plan for North America?
To go from north to south.
Yeah, from Alaska down to Patagonia. So yeah, Jim, we will be there soon because you guys have got some incredible trails. Soon is, I guess, a bit subjective, but we will be there at some point.
Yeah.
Could you give some little clues as to where we are? So the first clue. What is, Sarah, the peak in the background?
That is High Pike.
High Pike?
I feel like that's quite a big clue. Okay, next question is from Paul. Any other YouTube channels to follow? Josh?
Yeah, so I love YouTube. That's definitely the main social, thing that I spend my time on online. I love a guy called Bo Miles. He's a Australian, I'd say now he's kind of like a backyard adventurer. He has done real big things, like he kayaked to the tip of Africa, but he does a lot of quite simple but interesting things, like he ran a mile an hour for 24 hours, but was doing lots of tasks in between that, which doesn't sound very interesting, but he's a really interesting guy. Also done things where he's walked a few hundred miles to work. He followed this old disused railway. He kind of fills you in on the history of it as well. Bike wanderer Johan, he is he's probably the most inspirational person in terms of our cycling. He started a journey from Alaska down to Patagonia in his series called I Want to See the World, and it's just the most beautiful series. He goes like super light, he films it all really nicely, but it's really like nature and like community focus. It's nothing about like smashing miles, and he just is seems the most beautiful character, just really absorbing all the like the wildlife. He loves dogs, all the people. Definitely check him out, Bike Wanderer, I Want to See the World.
And it's not a YouTube channel. One of our favourite YouTube films is Cape Town to Cairo. A guy that cycles, can't remember how long it takes him, I think more than a year, but he cycles all the way from Cape Town up to Cairo, predominantly on his own, and it's just epic. It's quite old now, I think. He isn't old, but
all self-shot.
Yeah.
And I think, like Johan,
it's like really in depth.
It's really beautiful. His like engagement with the communities. It's not kind of
nature,
kind of all like bike based. Obviously, he is biking, but it's just these African communities. Just I've never seen something which has immediately made me want to reconsider my plans. We for ages, you know, we want to cycle east to India and onwards. I'm like, well, maybe you could do that by going down South Africa first. Yeah. And then
it made us reconsider our trip. Hope you can hear this because it's getting quite windy.
Yeah, we're following a sheep.
We are. Rainy and windy, and we're cycling into the wind, which means there's lots of rain going into my eyeballs. It's quite hard to see.
Right, it's pretty windy, so we thought it's
really windy. It's pretty windy is an understatement.
Found the boundary wall for some wind shelter. Hopefully you can hear us. What's the next question?
So the next question is from Jack. Do you miss Cambridge?
We've literally left Cambridge less than a week ago. I came back up from Cambridge 2 nights ago because I had to get back for this hospital consultation. So, not yet.
I also think this is somewhere that we really want to be, so I think that there's no FOMO because there's so much to explore here, and it's absolutely beautiful. So
I think I said before, we don't drive. Since COVID we've been back in the UK. The C word, I shouldn't say that. Since the C word, we've been back in the UK for the longest stint we ever have been. Because we don't drive, our immediate surroundings are very, very important to us for the things we want to do. So we just love anything outdoorsy.
As soon as we can like explore from the doorstep.
It's really like our medicine. It just makes us feel good. A little background to it. Before the C word, we were cycling to India. Then that happened, we came back to the UK.
We were due to leave again sort of at the end of spring, beginning of summer, but then
like June time this year.
Jay has to now have this operation, which should have been something that was quite quick, but with COVID C word backlogs, it's just we're having to stay put for a lot longer.
But what a place to be in. It kind of makes you just forget about future plans, and just like there's just so much possibilities here. So and there's a next little clue. We are standing in front of a trail marker for the Reivers route, the Reivers cycle route. So
does that give you any?
High Pike,
Reivers cycle route. That's what we've given you so far.
More tips coming. Next question is from Brad. What is your multi-day meal planning like, and do we plan it in terms of nutrition and calories? Over to MasterChef.
I would say not a plan exactly. I think we have sort of meals that work. So for breakfast we always have sort of a porridge mix with oats, seeds, dried fruit, and then tea and coffee. And then lunch is again something sort of bread based with a filling that's quite usually sort of jam, peanut butter and banana, because it's such like an energy, calorie dense, nutritious
and you can get it almost anywhere.
So
and then dinner,
well, and then also for lunch we'll have things like dried fruit, nuts, like fresh fruit, like energy bars, depending on what's available. And then dinner, we have quite a few recipes that we use time and time again because they're sort of one pot meals, which are really easy to do, They're quite calorie dense, easy to make and nutritious. But
it's all based on like a carb,
yeah,
a sauce, a protein and a veg. So if you haven't realised, it's all plant-based. We're just eating plant-based for like 7 years. So all of our recipes and everything we cook is all plant-based. It's all plant-based.
Okay, another one from Brad. Do we plan for water sources?
We probably carry maybe 2 1-litre bottles each, then another litre bottle, and then we have a 10-litre bladder which we will fill if we know we're getting into more remote areas where we won't be able to get water.
Yeah, or if we're going to camp for the night.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the conditions, because you don't want to be lugging more water than you need. We also have a water filter, soya water filter.
Yeah, soya squeeze.
Like in the UK, you're never too far from water sources.
No.
So I wouldn't say it's something we massively planned. There's so much rain here, like
you're never too far from a pub.
Time to get back into the wind and the rain, new spots, get up this hill, and give you a few more clues as to where we are.
Yeah.
Just about to cross over, but I think we're going to use these boundary walls, this little old shelter, to do a few more questions. Next question is from Streetster. Do we have any part-time like side jobs that we do?
Yeah.
So you definitely do.
So we both definitely do. So I work for a mental health helpline. And we also run a website called Veggie Vagabonds, where we make sort of ethical outdoor resources.
Yes, we started that. So that's kind of like my main remit, is that and online work. We started that about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's a real kind of like passion project.
Yeah, labour of love.
It doesn't make much money.
We're quite proud that we can sort of make resources that encourage people to get outside and do it sort of in an ethical way. I just put my hand in loads of
cow too. Oh, lovely. But yeah, so we do, but our dream is to get completely self-sufficient online, so we can.
Yeah, that's the sort of from the videos and from the website. So then I wouldn't work on the helpline, and you wouldn't have to do sort of freelance stuff. And yeah, that's the dream. This leads quite nicely on to the next question. That is from Baxter. Are you still doing blogs for Veggie Vagabonds?
Yes.
Yes, Baxter. We are.
I think the last few months, basically since we thought we were going to go on this big trip and didn't, everything has been really up in the air because we haven't known what we were doing. Now excited to properly, now that we're here,
head first into everything,
surrounded by outdoor inspiration, we can properly start to dive in with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're after sustainable outdoor tips and like plant-based recipes and things like that,
gear guides,
then head over to veggievagabonds.com.
Yeah.
Another question here.
Okay. And next one.
Because I think the next bit is pretty exposed for quite a while.
Ben has asked, have we tried fat tyres before?
Fat tyre bikes? No, but we definitely would like to.
Yes, especially here where it's very, very wet and boggy. This would be the perfect environment for it.
Would love to at some point. That'd be very cool. Should we try and give another tip for
where we are?
Where we are.
Okay, so I think we should say that this.
About 219.
This is one of 219 famous peaks in this region.
That we're going towards, but we're surrounded by about 3 or 4 of them around us. So that's getting more and stronger, warmer and warmer clues. So you should be pretty close by now, I reckon.
Maybe, we'll see.
Alright, it's too wet for the camera properly, but I just thought I would quickly, with our tarp attempt has not, Sarah's got a tarp bib at the moment. This is our third attempt. It's not going so well. Right, it got really wet and windy.
Yes.
As you saw, the tarp didn't work. So, and the GoPro stopped working as well.
The GoPro stopped working as well, so it means we had no recording capabilities.
Now we're back home, and we will...
It was epic, like especially riding with it being like really wet and muddy. Like it was epic, but yeah, we couldn't record unfortunately. So now we're home.
We will put
put
some logs on the fire.
Yeah.
And we will continue. Teamwork.
Squat.
We've got one more question, two more questions.
Two more questions.
So, question number one, do we like folk music? Do we like folk music?
Yes, we do really like folk music.
I think this was asked because in quite a lot of our videos we have folk music.
Yes, because we like it.
We absolutely love music. It's, I guess, outdoors, food and music are like our triangle of pleasure. The music, we love folk music.
We like lots of different types of music, we do, but folk music, yeah, it's definitely
big one.
up there.
Yeah, and the last question was from Ed
Zeppelin.
Ed Zeppelin. What sleeping gear do we use?
What sleeping gear do we use?
So for tents, we have like different tents. We have a MSR Mother Hubbard, which is a 3-berth tent. Which
is kind of like our tent that we got with the intention of travelling the world with. We would normally have 2-people tents, but having done many trips in 2-people tents, they're quite small for a round the world trip. So we decided to get a slightly bigger one, and it's beautiful. We can be in it, and then just you can sit up as well. Like you have
sometimes I forget she's in there. But
so that's our kind of like big tent. And
but that's also better for like for
summer.
For summer, yeah. It's got mesh outer, it's not very good at retaining the heat.
No.
For winter, we have a Van Gogh Ultralight Zenon Ultralight 2P. It's not freestanding, so it's for some things not so good, but
it is warm.
But it's very good in bad conditions.
So
really
we used
good in
that
wind.
When we did the Pennine Bradaway in winter, and it managed to keep us alive in some very cold, wet and windy conditions. And it does keep the heat in quite well. But yeah, the only downside is that it's not freestanding.
I think that...
And then one more question from Ed Zeppelin again, about our average speed.
Average speed, okay.
What's our average speed?
I guess that like massively changes depending on what we do. Like at the moment on our cycle today, going super slow uphill, not too fast downhill.
Taking pictures in every single corner.
I think because most of the cycling we like to do is off-road, is that it's slower going, especially if we've got gear. We developed this, our cycling motto, which is go slow, take detours,
ditch tarmac,
avoid saddle swap. Right, so that is the end of the Q&A, and through this we have been giving you little clues about where we are.
Tips.
Not tips, I've been saying that all day. Clues, so drum roll. We
are in the Lake District!
Yeah, so we're in the northern part of the Lake District.
Nestled away, sort of just inside the lake, in a little cottage, surrounded by hills.
Just absolutely beautiful. It is. And we massively lucked out.
We're really happy to be here. We're still sort of getting settled and unpacking, but having the lakes to explore on our doorstep feels like an absolute treat.
Obviously there's lots of different sides to cycling, and increasingly online you see lots of racing, you see lots of really hard, fast cycling, where there's definitely a time and place for that.
Yeah, but that's not what we're about. We want to get into a landscape, explore it, and really make the most of it. Go
a little bit slower, immersive, and we want to take you guys along for the journey. So massive thank you to the first 1,000
thank you for finding us, thanks for sticking around. We hope that you're here for the whole journey.
And it genuinely is really nice meeting you guys and hearing about, like in some of the comments, learning about your adventures and the different things you're
keep on coming.
First 1,000, hopefully
hopefully
more to come. Yeah, so we will catch you on the next
video.
And I hope the internet is up and running so I can share this video.
We hope you see this.